All right. Good morning. Let me just grab TikTok, get them on the line here. I just had an interesting morning with the whole password situation. Apparently, my password was changed last night. It was slightly concerning. It wasn't me, and Nicole says it wasn't her. I don't know, though, because she was doing stuff with the iPad, and maybe she changed it and didn't realize. But let me grab the talk. Am I on the right account here? I have too many accounts. All right, let's go live. We're going to call this Homeschool Entrepreneur. All right, and we are going to go live in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, TikTok. You are here with YouTube, and it is another absolutely splendid day here in the sunny South. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I know I did, and we took care of some really good stuff as a family, so that was very exciting. And I know I'm a little late today, but I had some signing in problems where I was not able to sign in, but I was able to get around that hurdle, and here we are. So today we are going to talk about homeschool entrepreneurship, and specifically we're going to talk about it in the context of the year-long nature unit study we've been doing and how we're giving the children an opportunity to get entrepreneurial experience, and they can take that opportunity or they could not. And by the way, you don't have to do our nature unit study. You can do what I'm about to describe. You can do with your children, and you don't have to have anything to do with our year-long nature unit study. But our students have been doing some really amazing things, specifically in the area of gardening. And we have been, our students have planted seeds. Talk about climate change. Our students have planted seeds. Yeah, I'll talk about being a real environmentalist, and this is how you do it. Our students have planted their own seeds, and they've made little makeshift greenhouses that they planted the seeds in indoors. They germinated their seeds. They built garden boxes and raised garden beds outside. They planned their summer garden. They did a lot of research. They composted their own soil, transferred their sprouts out into the summer garden. They've made their own fertilizer. They've made bumblebee baths to try to attract the bumblebees, ladybug feeders to try to attract the ladybugs, and on and on and on. Our students have been doing a year-long nature unit study, and one of the things we want to do with the unit study, and one of the things I want homeschool parents to understand in general, is that we want to get our children entrepreneurial experience, and we don't just want to get them a little bit of experience. We want them getting entrepreneurial experience every school semester, really, every 6 months from the time they're 5 years old all the way up until the time that they graduate. And we've done a few things with this so far. So the children have built their own ladybug feeders, their own bumblebee baths. They have made candles out of wax. And we've gone over some things that they could do if they want to get entrepreneurial experience. And that could be making ladybug feeders, birdhouses, and selling them on a site like Etsy, right? One of the things our students have done is they have made candles out of beeswax, right? So as the children develop these skills, we show them, okay, if you go onto Etsy and type in ladybug feeders or beeswax candles, you'll see all these people selling their stuff, and you're capable of doing that as well. Hey, Melissa. Yeah, it is a beautiful thing. Can we get back to these lessons? We just joined. Well, happy to have you. Yeah, the lessons, if you don't know where to find them, just what's your username? and I'll inbox you and I'll show you how to find everything, because they're not only lessons with everything you have to do, but I actually teach a class that goes along with it that I record for the children. So, hey, Foster Bear, good morning. Glad you catch the live stream as well. So, we want to show our children as many entrepreneurial things as we possibly can. And this week, really the last few weeks, we've been studying the life cycle of plants, and specifically we started to get into flowers. And as part of the conclusion of this week's assignment, do you create an Etsy account for them or do it under your Etsy account? No, this is, if they want to pursue selling their stuff, then they make their own account, and obviously their parents have to oversee all of this, and, it's their thing, not mine. Good morning from New York. So, with the conclusion of our nature unit study this week, not that it's done, just every week our lessons have an intro, body, and conclusion, I'm giving the students guidance, and I'm giving them an option. And the option is to start their own summer business. And it's really something I'm passionate about, and something that I'm really glad I could incorporate into our nature unit study. So for our members, when I post the unit study today or tomorrow or the next day, whenever it's done, if you're a little bit behind, don't be afraid to jump into this one, because what we're going to do is have the children research different types of flowers, research how floral arrangements are put together, and from there we're going to have them fill out some forms, some charts. So like, basically they're going to plant their seeds and grow their flowers, and then they're going to fill out charts. All right, cost and projected profit charts, and how much does it cost to grow these flowers? You need the seeds, you need the dirt, right? And then how much do these flowers typically sell for? And how many flowers do you plan on growing, right? How many seeds are you going to plant? And after they harvest the flowers, we're going to have them put together a little marketing plan or a sales plan, and they'll really have options to pursue whatever they want. But basically, the children will have the options to sell their flowers at an event, whether that's in their front yard, whether that's at a farmer's market, sell their flowers door to door, which is always cool, a good experience, or to actually contact, which I prefer, I think this would be really cool, to contact local garden centers as well as florists and ask them if they'd be willing to purchase the flowers at wholesale, which I think would be a really good experience for the children. And to me, this is a great summer project because the children are learning to do entrepreneurial things. They're doing work that counts. And I mean, just the organizing, the planning, the sales, the marketing, the creativity of it, everything about it is beneficial to the children throughout the rest of their life, compared to, hey, Johnny, just go get a summer job, or we're not going to do anything in the summer. You have them start little summer flower businesses, nothing crazy, and sell their flowers. And then, of course, they make some profit from it, which is really cool. And it's just the mindset development, the experience, everything about it I really like. And so that's what we're going to have our students do this week. And if they want to, if it's something they pursue, they can start their own little, business, flower business, over the course of the summer. And that's really the benefit of homeschool. Like, you can be so creative and you can get your children real world experience. And there's just nothing like it in public school. And, I know you guys see that because you're homeschool parents. Let's see what the people are saying. Yeah, sorry I was late. I went to sign in to YouTube, and it said that my password was changed 13 hours ago, unbeknownst to me, because I didn't change it, which makes me slightly nervous, based on previous events of me being targeted. And I spoke with Nicole, and she doesn't think she changed it. So I don't know why that is, but apparently 13 hours ago my password was changed, and I was able to go through a recovery process and get my account back, but it is slightly concerning that that happened. So, talk about climate change. The climate changes. The climate has always changed. And the people who blame you for the climate change are actually snake oil salesmen trying to extract wealth, resources, and power from you. You say, "Oh my God, how dare you? Are you a denier? Are you a climate change denier? Are you a denier?" No, I think that the way that humanity in general treats the planet is horrific. I consider myself an environmentalist. I think that these global corporations, they pollute our water, they pollute our air, they kill wildlife, which is very important to the ecosystem and the biodiversity of the planet, which is where our food comes from. All of that is true. But what they want you to think climate change is, they want you to think that climate change is cow farts and you breathing. They want you to think that you breathing is toxic to the planet because they don't want you to breed, right? Because they want less of you, because they're into power and control, and they view the majority of the public as being what's called useless eaters, in that the majority of the public are children in adult bodies who are incapable of taking care of themselves, incapable of feeding themselves, and this puts a lot of stress on their financial Ponzi schemes, right? This puts a lot of stress on their fiat currency, fractional reserve banking system, which is backed by nothing. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by silver. And because of that, their Ponzi scheme is becoming insolvent and their financial system is on the verge of collapse. So in order to keep that Ponzi scheme going, they have to find reasons to print more and more money, and they do that with generally with foreign war. But the public, even though they're brainwashed at large, has become so suspect of foreign war that even the public is against it. Like, even the public realizes what happened in the Middle East over the last 20 years was complete and utter nonsense, profit-driven, wealth-driven nonsense, right? So they have found other ways, other reasons to get us to print more and more money, and we've seen that since March of 2020, and you will continue to see it because they are frantically trying to figure out how to switch to a digital dollar so they can do a great reset, which is a great reset of their financial system. But in order to give you a new deal, they have to first make things bad enough so that you accept a new deal that is a lower standard and quality of life than the old deal. And that, in a nutshell, is everything that's been going on in the world in the last 2 years and, climate change. I think the UN just released a report where they tried to cover it up, in which they accidentally acknowledged, they're like, the climate hasn't changed in 20 years. I'll get to your responses to that rant in a little bit. I want to go through all your comments. Homeschooling's a beautiful thing. Good morning from New York in the house. I don't want to wake up in a city that never sleeps. I want to be in nature, 'cause I'm an actual environmentalist. A day seldom goes by that I don't plant a tree. New York is hell on earth. All right. I'm not leaving today, 'cause I left about a year ago. New York, New York. Do you think kids feel pressure to make money in their childhood? They shouldn't. Don't mistake it. What I'm talking about is not pressuring kids to make money. Like their flower business, they'll probably make like $100, and it's not even about that. It's just about the experience. Like you can use your creative mind to create a product or a service, and then demonstrate to them that you have value. Like you can have an idea, pursue that, plant your seeds, grow flowers, and people will buy your flowers. Like, right? And then you could organize your business plan, do a little marketing, marketing, um, have a marketing plan, do some sales, and all of this is just experience and mindset development. It's not about the money. I mean, yeah, I'm sure if you wanted to, you could pressure your kids to scale their flower business. It's not about that. They make $100 on the summer, and they'll be so happy. They'll be like, wow, look, I grew these flowers. I had a marketing plan. I sold the flowers. I'm absolutely crushing, right? Yeah, I mean, listen, if you have a 15 or a 16-year-old, they'll probably want to make money. So you'll talk to them about, okay, so do your cost profit analysis. How many flowers do you have to plant and sell to make, how much money do you want to make? Right? Because they probably want to make money. They're a little bit older. That's different. But no, your children shouldn't feel any pressure to make money. It's about mindset. It's about experience. Yeah, kids are excited to make money. Like, you know, my 4-year-old makes a quarter and he's pumped. He actually prefers making quarters than to dollars, which is hilarious, but he's a child. I mean, it's not that serious. Yeah, the kids are excited when they realize they could turn ideas into money. And the important thing is you're showing them that they can do that. You're showing them that they shouldn't have this scarcity mindset that people have where like, how can I ever do anything to make money in the world? Like you could do tons of things to make money in the world. You can grow flowers and sell them. Like literally, like there's so much you can do in this world, especially in the age of technology. And you just want your children to see that. We just finished our product sheet and our profits. We are super excited. That's awesome. What did I just do? Sorry, it jumps on TikTok. Kids can brag a lot. Some will make $80 and some will make 80,000. Well, if they make 80,000, we're doing something right. But yeah, I mean, $80 is a big win. Like your children grew flowers, or they made ladybug feeders and sold them. Like that's amazing. You're showing them that they can do things in the world, and as they get older, they'll figure out what they want to do. And like when they get older and making money, it becomes important to them. And people could say it's not important. It is. Like, I think that one of the traps people fall into is they're never satisfied. And then that's a big trap, because if you're never satisfied, you're never happy. Like I was talking to Nicole about the difference in culture in New York and the South. And in New York, people are always trying to get more. They're like, oh, but I could work 18 hours a day and make even more money, and I could scale this and to do more and more and more. And when you start to be like that long enough, like the money consumes you, it becomes your God, right? Whereas in the South, the culture's different. Like people start like a little family business, and then they get it to a certain, I mean, listen, there's people do a lot of different things, right? But like a lot of people create like a small business, and then rather than trying to scale it, they kind of keep it at the level it's at, and they're just satisfied. And the thing about that is when you become satisfied, you could actually slow down. That's why people are like, oh, people move so much slower in the South. Like New Yorkers, they come to the South and like, why is everything move so slow? And it's like, because they're happier. because money is not their God. They're happier people, right? It's not this insatiable thirst to get more and more and more. It's like, that's why one of my favorite songs is Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. He's like, now don't go chasing the rich man's gold. All that you need is in your soul. I was like, he's like, all that I want for you is to be satisfied. That's what he's talking about when he says, all that I want for you is for you to be satisfied. That's what Leonard Skinner's talking about in that song, right? Don't go chasing the rich man's gold. All that you need is in your soul. I forget the line. I was like, all that I want for you is to be satisfied and be a simple kind of man, right? That's what it's about. That's why I play that song for my children all the time. And do something you love and understand, right? I love that song. Yosef, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, also, he has good deals in his program. I agree with you. Will you be at Bear Fest in Pennsylvania or the Labor Day thing in Bartaria? I plan on going to PA, although I haven't booked it yet. And maybe in Missouri in September. 8 a.m. on Monday, so early. Happy to have you here. I'm on Cubs to Bears on TikTok. We're doing a sugar shack with cotton candy and lemonade to learn about an investment. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. And writing a business plan to dog walk this summer. See, that's a great summer job for children because they're planning and organizing and setting up a business. They can make a good, summer wage off of it. They can make a lot of money doing dog walking. And it involves a skill. Like they could read books about training dogs, right? They should research a lot. Like how do you properly intervene if you're walking two dogs and they start having a conflict with each other, right? Like you develop these skills. I'll be at Bear Fest in PA. Oh, awesome. I plan on being there. I just have to make the logistics work. And I actually plan on doing a lot of research for that this week because I want to make sure that I give them everything they need in terms of having a good event. Is this all part of your course? And if so, does this include an interactive community for questions? Yeah, we have an amazing community. We have hundreds of homeschool parents with an accumulative thousands of years of homeschool experience, which is super cool. You ask questions and the community has answers. We have state groups in which you could connect with people in the state that you live. We have a pen pal program in which the children could write to one another, and you get access to myself, which is obviously beneficial. After they spell check and rewrite it legibly, I'll post. And make sure when they do that, you sit down with them and go over the grammar. Like, the most important part in developing grammatical skills or as a writer is actually the editing process. So sit down with them, read their writing line by line, say this is a run-on sentence. I like what you did here. You could have worded it differently. Here are some options you could have used, right? So you want to get their mind in a place where they're thinking about how they edit their work. I know, but with kids making money, you have to teach them all about other morals sooner. I think you start teaching them about morals as soon as they're born, right? Like, my son and I, a day doesn't go by where we're not talking about what's right, what's wrong. He's always asking me questions about the bad people in the world. He has a very hard time comprehending why people would be bad and hurt each other, which children are so amazing that way. So he asks a lot of questions about that. And we talk about doing the right thing. I always say, do the right thing. Pikes never lie. these mantras that we use. We read the Bible a lot, obviously. I have a children's Bible, which I really love. And making money isn't inherently bad, especially for children who are so innocent. Um, as long as they know you don't do things that hurt people, right? So I don't think you have to teach them about morality sooner. I just think that financial literacy is something you teach from a young age, and financial mindset is something you teach. In fact, if you want to get them entrepreneurial type experience, but do it in a good way, like you can have them do like a charity bake sale for your church or a charity bake sale for the community. And then as a business experience for that, right, you could have them put flyers up or give out cards to everyone that comes to the charity event, just saying that little Matthew, this is Matthew's baking business, right? He's 5 years old. This is his baking business. And he does cater events. So, like, if you're having a birthday party, Matthew is available for hire. And then someone might hire him, or they might not. But you get him business experience, but he's doing charity stuff. So, like, he's literally raising money for the church. Like, you can do it so many different ways. Like I said, like, people, I think in our society, sometimes they hear what I talk about and they think it's about making money. It's not about making money. It's about mindset development. Like, I don't care if my 5-year-old is earning a living. It's about mindset development and experience. And if you get your children those things, like, that's what a real education is. Like, it's the opposite of what happens in public school. Like, yes, children, if you want to prepare them to operate in the real world, they need experience operating in the real world. Like, 90% of people think they can't do anything in the world to make money. Yeah, no shit. I mean, you had them in these public school classrooms for the last 18 years, right? Like, they don't know. Like, why would they know how to do business things? They've never done it, right? This, like, it's amazing. Harp and chemtrails. I mean, probably, but I can't control those things, so I don't harp on them. I don't harp on them. That's funny. What's up, Wellness Warrior? Y'all should check out Cubs to Bears. Thank you, Melissa. Those are the books I write. Yeah, when you're out shopping with the kids, you talk about budgeting, pricing, right? I mean, we talk about this stuff all the time with our 4-year-old. Like, it's not like something like, ooh, it's part of life. It's just, you know, he understands that things cost money, and because of that, we don't always buy things, and um, that's why mommy and daddy do our work, and he'll understand how to make it. And most importantly, like I said, it's just, you don't want it to become their gods. You want to teach your children to be satisfied, like, and that there are many forms of wealth, like nature. Time in nature is wealth. Like, growing plants and having food in your backyard is wealth, and having family is wealth. Mom and dad are wealth. Like, your sister, right? Your brothers and sisters are wealth. And when you get older, when you meet someone, you're going to get married and have lots of children, and then you'll really understand what true wealth is. And that's what matters. Do I know of a good editing program? Does anyone know of a good editing program? For what? For just like editing writing? You talking about like Grammarly? Like, for editing what? For my birthday, my mom ordered me You Are What You Eat. It arrived Saturday. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I did write You Are What You Eat #2, and I really need to make a decision. I don't know. I'm procrastinating. You Are What You Eat is a book I wrote. Yeah, I mean, I haven't used it, but Grammarly seems like a good program from what I see, right? Apparently, like you write things and then Grammarly corrects your grammar, shows you what it does, and gives you options of other ways you could word things. I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. Um, I don't know. Does anyone know of any other programs? I'm sure they do. I'll scroll down to it. I've used Grammarly. Do you not like it? How crazy would it be if someone could help make your school a real classroom? Yeah, maybe one day. That's what I thought this page was. He's not a rep for the books. No, I write those books. I write Cubs to Bears. Cubs to Bears is like insight into my mind and how my mind works. Like if you understand Cubs to Bears, you understand me. I do, just checking to see if there was others. Thank you. I'll see what the community said. I'm 43 messages behind everyone. I'm trying to catch up. I will be avoiding the metaverse. Yeah, me too. I know one day I'm probably going to wind up in there and I'm going to be like, this is my nightmare. But I will avoid that. You know, on the one hand, I'm like, it's kind of like cell phones, and you're like, oh, I was like, oh, I don't need a cell phone. And then I was like, oh, like I remember Facebook, my girlfriend at the time in college, like, you have to get Facebook, you have to get Facebook. And I was like, no, I don't want Facebook. And like now I'm on social media all the time. I should have just never went on it. And I was so innocent at the time, like, I didn't even know, like, the reason she probably wanted me to get Facebook was probably just to keep tabs on me. But it's interesting looking back. Because that was when I was 18 and we were long distance. She's like, you have to get Facebook. You have to get Facebook. Just get Facebook. I was like, I don't want Facebook. Questions on your homeschool website. How does it work? Yeah, so if you join Homeschools Connected, you get access to all of the courses that I teach, which includes our year-long nature unit study. So it's a 52-week nature unit study in which the children aren't only planting their own seeds and composting and making fertilizer and building greenhouses and constructing garden boxes and constructing ladybug feeders and making bird feeders and making wax wax candles out of beeswax. But they're also learning photography, art, videography, construction, and they're gaining entrepreneurial experience, as I've been discussing today, through that unit study. Then I teach courses on the Bill of Rights and the American Revolution, which I teach live on Thursdays at 10:30 a.m., and you have access to the replays as well. I teach a course on propaganda using the Cubs to Bears children book series, which is a very valuable course, by the way, because once your children see it, they'll be able to identify it the rest of their life. I teach another course on the media industrial complex, and that just touches the surface of the courses we'll be putting out. And on top of that, you get access to an entire community of homeschool parents with thousands of years of experience combined, right? Hundreds of homeschool families that have been homeschooling for many years each. A primary chat where everyone pretty much 24/7 is communicating back and forth with one another. Hey, this is what's going on with my homeschool. Or, hey, let's just talk about life, blah, blah, blah. We have state groups so that you connect with people in the state that you live. We have a pen pal program so that your children could write to other children in the community. And you have access to myself if you have any questions, direct messaging. So that's valuable as well. And you get all of that for the very expensive price of $10 a month with the discount code FREEDOM, all lowercase. Tifgog in the house. Homeschoolers here, but I heard they are adding the metaverse junk to the Canadian curriculum. Canada is, I mean, you guys in Canada, and I mean this with love, have been too cucked for too long. And I mean, it was the trucker situation, and you guys just got rolled on with that. And like now they're doing everything with, the your right to defend yourself situation. I mean, you guys are just, it's a nightmare over there. And it all stems back to that you guys never rebelled against the Queen of England. Like, in America, we told King George III at the time, we were like, listen, King, you have no authority here. And he was like, oh, blah, 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 I'm from London. And then Samuel Adams and them boys were like, I'm going to tell you one more time, you're going to leave the colonies and that they belong to us. And the king was like, blah, blah, blah. And then we used those things that the media is desperately trying to get everyone to give up. And we murked them. Like, we murked them, George Washington and them boys. And then we sent them back across the ocean with the tail between their legs. And now you have a culture in the United States of America, which, in spite of all of its problems, and by the way, I love you Canadians. I'm just talking trash. I'm being silly. But in spite of all America's problems, and we have many, like our government is a disaster, there is a subculture inside America of traditional American values that is the most powerful, liberating, free, sovereign culture on planet Earth. And I do think that stems back from the culture of the Second Amendment. By the way, I'm just clowning you with the Canadian. I love you guys. And I think there's a lot of base Canadians. Like, there are Canadians, like, I'm not talking about like city liberal Canadians. Disaster. Like, not only are they being conquered, but quite frankly, they deserve to be conquered. Just like many of these city liberal Americans. But like, there are more freedom-oriented, like out in the wilderness Canadians who are some of the toughest, most based people you will ever meet. So like, it's all relative with everything, but I mean, just the fact that the Queen of England could show up and shut down your country at any moment, that is like, and the Queen of England, like, oh, maybe I'll make a TikTok on her today. The Queen of England, it's, all right, I'm not going to talk about this on TikTok because I told myself, like, I'll make a video on it, but I'm not going to get into, like, all of that colonization, all of that imperialism, all of that trade that went on, that was really bad. Like, the Queen of England and her family were behind all of that. Like, all of the stuff that the left are like, we have to root that out. Like, I mean, the Queen of England, they claim that they are a bloodline that is superior to everyone else on earth. And because of that, they have a decree to be royalty and to rule and to extract all of the tax money and the wealth from all these third world countries. Like, they're the largest landowners in the world. Like, the Queen of England is the direct descendant of Dracula. I'm pausing because I want people to spiral. Dracula's a cartoon character. No, Dracula is a myth, a tale, because this is how people used to pass on stories, based on a real man who was in the royal family, right? And this real man, the real Dracula, was called that because not because he was a literal vampire, because he was a cannibal. He cannibalized people. And this is where the royal family comes from. And they've admitted this they say up until 300 years ago. This is official doctrine from the royal family. Up until 300 years ago, their ancestors ate people. Up until 300 years ago. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can look all this stuff up. And that's why one of the queen's sons, I forget which one, he actually purchased Dracula's old castle. Right? Because those were his descendants, right? And then you have like the royal family. They're all cool with Jimmy Savile and right? And was it Prince Charles is all cool with Epstein, right? Like that's who these people are. And the fact that the people of England or Canada or anything like would in any way worship or be subservient to these people, like man, it is just cuckery beyond the pale. But the thing is, like, a couple of hundred years ago with like the American Revolution and the French Revolution and like the culture changing in the world, like these monarchs realized that the people of the world didn't need them anymore and they had to find more creative ways to rule. And they started to kind of rule through subversion and kind of fade to the back. And that was their way of survival, right? And like the fact that people like worship, and it's so funny because you'll see the news media and like they're talking about the queen and like she's such a gracious queen. It's like, oh man, these people are such shills. Like, and the fact that people don't see it is so denounced to me. Like, it's really just crazy. You're royalty. Okay, queen. You're not my queen. You know, you had your King George III, and he thought he could tell us what to do, and we murked him. And I know, England, you did your sneaky games with trying to get America back into debt to you and controlling America through debt, and you've been successful to a large degree with that, but, you know, and all that stuff with the Organic Act of 1871 and, you know, turning us into chattel. You know, but it's fine. It's, you know, royalty. My son is 10 and he is starting a lawn care business. Squirrels making noise up there. I get nervous because sometimes they knock the branches down. My son is 10. He's starting his own lawn care business and saving up for his own lawnmower. Yeah, I actually I went to an event. I'm in a community we're called the Bears, and it's just like-minded people around the country. And I got invited to an event at one of the Bears' houses. Never met him before this, but I wound up going to his house, which is about 2.5 hours away from me. Real cool guy, and he actually started a tech company, and he wound up selling his tech company for millions of dollars. So understand where this guy's coming from, right? This was a very impressive man, okay? So he sold a tech company for millions of dollars, and now he homesteads and works as a consultant, a tech consultant. And so basically that means he just works when he wants and makes a lot of money. And we were talking about, he knows me from the Bears and the internet, and he wanted to talk to me about getting his children ready for being independent and free. And he was telling me what his plan was. And his plan was starting at 13 to show them how to start a landscaping business. And then from age 13 to 18, he was going to show them how to scale their landscaping business. And at age 18, he was going to show them how to sell their now scaled landscaping business for a large sum of cash. And, you know, the guy, he's done it himself. I was like, hey, I think your plan's brilliant. I love it. Like, to me, that sounds like a great education. It sounds like a great way for your children to be independent and free when they're 18. And, like, if they want to go for it, like, hey, show them how to do it. That's amazing. So, yeah, I love what you're doing with that. garage sale to sell current toys and buy new ones. I love that. I absolutely love that. You could, if they like doing that too, you can show them how to do flipping, where they go to garage sales, buy things for cheap, and then resell them online or at their own garage sale for more money. Or like to use Facebook Marketplace, they could get free toys and then sell them at their garage sale. Like there's so many different entrepreneurial things you can show children how to do. Tifgog, congratulations. What happened with Tifgog? I missed that. It just skipped like 60 comments. I don't know what those animals are doing up there. Let me just see. Where are we? Where are we? I'm just going to go from here. We are here to support each other. I can't wait to move to the South. I'm planning to move to Tennessee. Tennessee's based. But listen, don't go to the South and start voting like you're, like, I don't like the whole Democrat-Republican thing, but, like, if you don't see that these liberal cities are hellholes, like, the South is better because of morality. Like, the South is better because it's closer to God and people are more moral, and because of that, they have a better culture. But, like, these people, they vote for small government. Like, don't come in and be like, we need to raise the taxes and do it. Like, no, like, that's why all of these northern cities are literal hells on earth. I mean, they're hell on earth because they're devoid of God, but I know the feeling. We moved from Chicago to Indiana, and it's a world of difference. Yeah, the online classes are $10 a month. Everything is. If you need a realtor who understands homeschool, let me know. I'm homeschooling my kids next year in VA. I'm not sure where to start with curriculum. Do you have any? Yeah, we have an amazing year-long nature unit study, which is probably as good as anything available. It's, I mean, your children, I've covered it already. I hate to like do it ad nauseum, but like they'll be planting seeds, making their own compost, building greenhouses, constructing garden boxes, all like amazing stuff, getting entrepreneurial experience. You know, I teach courses on the Bill of Rights, the American Revolution, familiar course called Foundations of Propaganda to familiarize children with propaganda. My fear is to become a comparison game. Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't do that. Don't compare your children to everyone else. And oh, that song, I tell my son almost every day to be a simple man. Absolutely. Yeah, Melissa we just made Tennessee home base for our homestead. Such a legend. Took flowers and did a stand for my dad to take to wife after work. Whole plan, she loved it. That's awesome. Do you ever come to Michigan? Never been there. Great community. Homeschools Connected at classicallearner.com. We encourage a little competition through hard work. That's awesome as well. There's no one right way to educate people, to educate a child, like, you know. Yeah, we have a Michigan state group. We have state groups in every state. So you could definitely meet people in Michigan on Homeschools Connected. Is it illegal not to start a kid in something at age 5? Well, I'm not a lawyer and I would never give you legal advice, but if you go to hslda.org, the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, HSLDA, and you scroll down, you will see a map of the United States of America. Click on the state that you live, and the regulations will come up, including the age range that you are mandated to have children schooling. If you enroll them in homeschool at age 5, then no. Well, again, check state to state. Look up Turbo Box on Facebook. My son started a community food box in our front yard. That's amazing. So what is your son growing food and then putting it out for the community to take for free? That's really cool. That's awesome. The dad jokes are on point. I bring them every day. I wake up in the morning thinking, how can I make someone roll their eyes at me with a dad joke? Oh, Wednesday's child at the beach on a Monday. That's how you know you're homeschooling and you know you're crushing it. Avoided Facebook for years. Me and my wife work opposite schedules. Yeah, that's actually conducive to homeschooling. Our country was built on freedom outlaws. It really was. It really was. I mean, these were people who, maybe not them themselves, some of them themselves, but at the very least, their parents and grandparents who raised them traveled across an ocean, right, risking almost certain death to go to undeveloped, uncharted land and to conquer that land. And I know you say, oh my God, that's so bad. They shouldn't have been conquering. Whatever. The point is, these were outlaws. These weren't take care of me type of people. They were like, I'm going to go to a new world with no infrastructure, no hospitals, no grocery stores, no one to do anything for me, no one to protect me, no police to call, right? And I'm going to crush. And like, that's what the founding fathers came from. And that's why, like, people are like, what do you mean they wanted to go to war over a 3% tax? It's like, that's because you're a house cat. Like, we're all house cats. Like, we've had the government taking care of us even if we don't want it for generations, right? Like, we are house cats. These people were outdoor cats. So when the government came along to the outdoor cat and was like, you're going to stay inside now and I'm going to feed you, they were like, we are. Like, no, you're not going to do it. And those outdoor cat claws came out. And, that's what it is. Oh, yeah, royal family, super evil. They want you to be an indoor cat. Me, I was raised an indoor cat, but man, I found the outdoors and I love being an outdoor cat. Ignorance by choice leads to self-victimization, in my opinion. Ignorance by choice leads to self-victimization. Interesting. Interesting. I'm going to think about that one. I didn't know what he was, so I didn't kill him. I just flicked him away. Just get away from me. He was flicked. You should have a course for adults as well. Unschooling America. Yeah, I mean, more people should be unschooling themselves. Like, just start doing interesting stuff and figure it out as you go along. Kids hanging laundry today and gardening. And that's great because they're learning responsibility, right? Like, it's important they learn to do the laundry and to do chores. And then, with gardening, it's just such a great life skill. And as I say all the time, skills, skills, skills over subject matter, not that subjects don't matter. Hey, Brett, guess what? What? We do not co-parent with the government. I love it. Tell it to Nicole. She's in charge of our clothing operations. Yeah, step away from the domestic life. So, all right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. I have a lot of stuff I have to get done today, so I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it a day. For anyone interested in joining us at the Unschoolables, it's www.classicallearner.com. Homeschools Connected. Use the discount code FREEDOM, and it is $10 a month, all lowercase. And you can find me on Classical Learner with everything else. Everywhere you want to find me, I'm Classical Learner. And yeah, freedom isn't free. We have to earn it every day. And I will undoubtedly be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time to earn my freedom.